I did not know we were doing 10 o'clock. I thought we were still doing 4.
Yeah, no shit. So did everybody else.
I missed it. I literally just woke up.
Fire up that laptop, baby.
Yeah, woo.
Oh, fuck, dude. I didn't even watch my
Jimmy.
match. Fuck me.
All right, we jumping into this.
What are you eating?
Vitamins.
All right. Welcome to
I just woke up, man.
Pro Wrestling Podcast.
You woke me up.
This is
I am your host, Aaron Varnum. Joining me today, as always, Big Mike.
Woo!
Tolbert.
Yeah, man.
And the vitamin chomping. Just waking up in.
Dread wearing, frisbee golfing.
Juggalo loving. Cookie, what's up, dude?
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop, says the man sitting right here. This is actually the single most annoyed I've ever been starting
I could
up
see it in his
this
face.
podcast. I've never been this just palpably angry as we start up this podcast today. Everything went wrong.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Every
Look at him.
fucking thing went wrong.
So mad.
Last night,
Everything.
the Big Mike's house, and Big Mike and I and Jasmine and Amanda were all hanging out. We were watching the Keith Lee against Killer Cross, or excuse me, Karrion Cross match for the NXT. And we're sitting there, we're talking, we're just planning a whole day around starting the podcast at 4 p.m. sharp. 4 p.m. And Mike's like, yeah, we'll do it tomorrow afternoon. I'm like, all right. My mom and dad are coming over. I'm going to be doing a little bit of yard work. We're going to go over to that, record the podcast, and then watch SummerSlam. That's the plan for today. I wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and there is a text from Tolbert saying, what time in the morning, boys?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were doing it in the morning. I could have done afternoon.
And
Wow.
then we said, well, I mean, we could do it a little bit later. And it was fine. And then Tolbert says, this morning, let's knock it out at 10 o'clock. It is currently 10:44. We just started this podcast. Cookie joined the podcast at 10:35. Mike got
I have
here.
a hard out.
Mike has to get out of here at 11:15, and Tolbert got here at no later than 10:25. What the fuck are we doing? We need to have strong boundaries when it comes to this podcast, boys.
Hey, man, there was
Firm start times.
there was waves, and I had to get my wife avocado.
Waves. All right, Spicoli, get your shit together. We're going to do this podcast at a certain time every fucking week.
I did actually buy a watch so I wouldn't be late.
To be fair, we have only ever started this podcast on time less than 5 times. And we're on what, 72?
Sure. But this week, I'm putting my foot down. No longer will it be up in the air that you got to put these firm boundaries.
Nip it.
Yes, put your foot down, Aaron.
You nip it in the bud, goddammit.
She's going to be late next week.
I cannot be late. This is my podcast. This is my home. Anyways, how was your week? Mike's got to leave in like 15 minutes. What the fuck's going on?
I had a great week.
Yeah, me too.
All things considered.
Fuck both of you.
I did not.
Oh, yeah, Cookie's going to shoot here in a second.
Well, Cookie, go ahead and shoot.
It's time for me to shoot? Oh, all right. Let me start talking about Central Piedmont Community College. I said it, and I'll say it again. Fuck you, Central Piedmont Community College. You half-bit, shitty organization. You are one of the worst places I have ever tried to get my money back, tried to figure out a course. Oh my God, I have so many things to say. All right, so how about this? The course said it was going to begin on August 18th. I load up my computer, get online, get ready for class on the 18th, and the professor says the course began on August 10th. And I said, what the fuck are you talking? What do you mean it began on August 10th? No email correspondence, no return a phone call, nothing. I didn't get any kind of response. So,
Cookie, was everybody else there on the 10th?
No. That man was literally given a syllabus read and doing his little introduction for the class by himself. And when he said, oh, there's no one in here, it must be because of the time change that I made. Who the fuck was supposed to know about that? Who? What the fuck? Central Piedmont Community College is... Can you give me a word, Aaron? Give me a good word for it.
Lambasting your social life.
Okay, I like it.
I don't know. It's ruining your life. I can tell.
It believe me, it ruined my life. I had to drop the course
there.
because I was 2 weeks into the fucking material. They were already on chapter 2 or chapter 3, whatever the fuck it was. It was a physics course on top of that. So I was completely it was over my head. So I said, fuck it, I'm dropping this course. And when I say, okay, give me my money back, they say, well, classes technically started last week, so we're only going to give you 25% of your money.
What?
I paid $550 for one single course, paying for fees that we're not, there's no campus fees, there's no lab tech fees, there's none of that bullshit. Yeah. So go ahead.
That's absolutely robbery.
Yes. 100%.
2, what did the classroom think when a man who looks like a juggalo tried to hijack their Zoom meeting that they've never seen before in their life? And they're like, who is this man? And trying to hijack our Zoom meeting.
It didn't help that half of my face was painted like Darby Allin, so they really didn't know what the fuck was going on.
And, did it still say Seymour Jugs?
Yeah, it still says Seymour Jugs too.
Oh my god! You're not shitting me, are you?
No, I'm not shitting you. I had to change it though. I saw it and I was like, oh fuck! Like, I think the professor. I couldn't make it out at first because my mic wasn't working, but I think he said something about who is Seymour.
He just wanted to drop the knowledge that a cookie in motion stays in motion.
So Cookie, are you are you not in class at all this semester or what?
No, get this, man. I am actually at Cape Fear Community College right now, enrolled at physics.
Thank God. Go Sea Devils.
At least.
Are they Sea Devils? They're Sea Devils.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cape Fear's got their issues, but at least they got their shit together a little bit.
Yeah.
Listen, you want to know how easy I love Cape Fear. I'm not shooting on Cape Fear. I literally called them on Friday. And I said, hey, I need to get into this class. They said, okay, reapply, call me back, we'll get you in the class. I reapplied, called them back, got into the class. That easy. $300, not $550 fucking dollars.
That's
the
insane.
incompetence of Central Piedmont Community College fucking baffles me. Fuck Central Piedmont Community College, you shitty half-wit organization.
All right. Well, there's that. Cookie, I feel that you have a justified gripe, very much justified gripe.
Yeah, I do too.
That's ridiculous. And thank God for CFCC. I took 3 semesters there in my undergrad life, and it was good. 2 summer courses, and there we go.
There you go.
Big Mike, what do you got to say?
Due to some unforeseen family situations, Amanda had to take the boys back to Ohio, but I made the best of that last week, and I made a fuck ton of bread.
Nice.
So that's what happens when you're bored.
I needed, to keep my nose clean, stay out of trouble. So I made a loaf of bread a day.
Is that a cocaine reference?
Well, I made a bunch of lines with flour, and I was going to tweet out something like that, but I didn't actually follow
Took the high road.
Oh, yeah.
You should snort some yeast. I'm sure that it's really good.
I didn't know how lowbrow this podcast was. So.
Oh, no. It's bad. It's bad. We have made lots and lots of jokes on this podcast that have been deemed offensive.
I also got a $1,000 scholarship for UNCW.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
For just half-assing your MBA?
Well, not half-assing. I did half-ass the application, so I'm very excited that I actually got something. I've only gotten 2 scholarships in my life. One was a $500 one last year, and I got a $1,000 one this year. You know why? Because I wrote it at the hospital on the last day that the applications were due, and I dropped how I work full time. I got 2 kids, and I got the COVID coming at me from all directions at work. So they must have felt sorry for me.
Wow.
I'm pretty excited.
No, I mean, that's good. That's very. I did not know that you could apply for master's degrees.
Well, the business school emailed us and be like, "Hey, there's this scholarships. Apply for them." So I was like, "Sweet, I'll do it." On the last day.
All right, there you go. Tolbert.
I have done nothing involving schooling of any sort.
Right.
Gotten back to the ocean this week.
Yeah, back to nature.
Bought myself a new board. Getting back into the surfing.
Yes.
I used to be really good in my prime. Now
No longer?
I'm terrible.
Okay.
But I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. I'm getting there.
Are you one of those guys that cuts off the other guys?
No, I'm very respectful in the water because you will get your ass beat.
That's my way.
Who's gonna beat your ass? Tiny little twinks.
Do they wait till you're on the
People get
beach?
pissed, dude.
Do they wait till you're on the beach, or do they like
Yeah.
swim up to you like a pirate and board your ship?
Yeah.
I'm the surfer now.
Look at me. No, it's been good. It's been good to get in the water, get in nature, and I don't know, try to get away from people. It's not working.
Yeah, it's
They're
understandable.
everywhere. They're everywhere.
I went kayaking yesterday in the intracoastal waterway. Went over to Palm Tree Island.
Oh,
Looked
yeah,
like
it
a
was
very
nice.
high tide.
So
in
what
that
were you
picture.
saying?
I just said, oh God, dude. Usually there's a lot of traffic at Palm Tree Island.
That was fun. There was not a lot.
Saltwater washes away COVID, right?
Yeah, no. It was me and a small group of
Okay.
kayakers, and we had fun. It was good. My arms are a little tired today. That's a little bit of a workout. It's nothing too intense. Yeah, fighting against the currents, the tides cause a resistance. Oh God, that was like a wet burp. Anyways, I hope everything has been good. Let's talk about. We were supposed to have a little bit of a $2 bake today, since Tolbert's match is all about bread. What kind of bread did you make this week?
So I made a fuck ton of sourdough bread. I went through and as a scientist would, right? You're going to go ahead and change one variable at a time. But I'm a hyper scientist, so I changed multiple variables at a time each day.
Smart.
I made this
Not
bread.
smart.
Took copious notes, trying to figure out what do I need, how do I need it, which way do I need it, how long do I rest it. Came to find out the hydration period when you're making a sourdough bread super important. You make the dough, you stir it, you just let it sit, let that starter kind of bubble, and then I found that
let that yeast activate.
Yeah, man. And then the kneading technique is you don't knead it like normal bread. The 2 loaves that I made when I kneaded it like normal bread, a little dense, not as flaky and fluffy like you would for a normal sourdough. So I'm going to continue to work on this. The rumor has it on the bread subreddit, you're going to fail at sourdough at least 1,000 times before you start making it well. So I'm working my way up there.
It looked good. What I saw in person looked very nice.
The taste, I have the taste down pat. Taste is great. Texture and quality on the rise and the shape of the loaf is where I'm trying to struggle.
So when you're going into this and you're trying to make that, what is the end game? Just to be a good bread maker at the house? Or are you trying to go into a business?
Sometimes you just want a nice loaf of fresh bread. And in Wilmington, there's not a lot of great places to find good bread. So sometimes you just got to go out on your own and make it yourself.
Cookie has fallen back asleep with the $2 bake segment.
No,
He always assumes it's a different type of bake. But
yeah, I thought we were talking about Bud, but never mind. Different types.
That would be $2 baked. So there we go. Let's talk about some professional wrestling. All right, for our first match of the evening, Big Mike, you have got 1, Andre the Giant, against 2, Stan Hanson.
all right, what better to kind of be in the middle or sandwich, if you will, a bread segment at the open, a bread segment at the end for the high spot, but two big old meaty men bumping meat.
So it's a sandwich. This is what you're saying. A sandwich
I'm saying
here.
that this is a sandwich full of meat.
I'm saying it's a meat sandwich.
Meat sandwich.
One of my favorite songs by Guar.
All right. September 23rd, 1981, in somewhere in Japan.
We're saying Tokyo.
It's probably Tokyo. We've got Andre the Giant and Stan Hansen. Andre is making Stan Hansen look like one of Cookie's twinks.
That's right. Like the size differential between these two men, astonishing. We have seen Stan Hansen dwarf people. We have seen Stan Hansen just be a big, mighty gaijin in the world of Japan. And now here comes Andre.
And, you know, it's tough because of the language barrier. I never know who they're cheering for because sometimes it sounds like Andre. And sometimes it sounds like Hansen. And it might be both. I don't know. I don't know who the good guy, who the bad guy is. All I know is they're just beating the shit out of each other.
Can I say that this single match is the greatest Andre the Giant match I have seen in my entire existence?
I felt like we were in Idaho with how many potatoes were getting thrown across.
Jesus
oh, my God.
Christ.
I know for a fact. I don't know this, but I know for a fact. Andre the Giant went, Stan, just hit me with everything you got. Because
he said,
Stan, hit me, whatever it takes, you got. Stan was dropping bows and throwing punches and kicks and knees that he, notoriously stiff gentleman, was not holding back on. And you know, Andre's just absorbing. There was once, though, he kicked Andre in the face, and I was just like, oh, God damn. This is not your high-flying, flippy-floppy kind of shit. It is just two giant bulls inside a squared circle beating the shit out of each other.
And Andre was given a lot of receipts.
He was. And Stan was taking them.
So there is a famous like story, or not story, but like it is well known that if Andre did not want to work with somebody, he could just absorb what you were taking and just no sell it. Andre made Stan look like $1 billion in this match.
Andre the Giant sold better in this match than I think I've seen anybody in current wrestling sell in a long time, given their like work set and the moves and all this sort of stuff. It was so believable that Stan Hansen was somehow battling this giant of a man. And it really, like, there's holds and there's some chain wrestling. There's a couple like back and forths off the ropes, but for the most part, it's just like heavy hitting slugfest. At one point, they get outside the ring, and this is where the language barrier. And if we had somebody that could translate, it would be really convenient. But
yeah,
at one point, they get outside the ring, and like you hear the bell. So the referee like called the match. I don't really know what.
Yeah,
happened.
I think it could have been a count out. That's what I.
It wasn't a
assumed.
count out. They were not out there for 20.
Okay.
It was like almost boom boom, and at first I'm like, holy shit! The rail, the barricade, literally goes up to Andre's ass cheeks. Like he could have went ass end over, and like where normal guys, you know, it's coming up to your waist. It's kind of wild. But they get back in the ring. There's some kerfuffle. Some kind of manager comes out for Andre's corner. Looks like a lawyer, maybe.
Yeah, he looks like just a really greasy, slimy dude.
And Andre's like grabbing the referee. He's like, talk to this man. And Stan's like, I want to fight. Let's fight. Like, screw that bell. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And so the match restarts. And again, it's just another 8 minutes of slugfest. At one point throughout the match, I forget if it was in the first half or the second half, Stan Hansen picks Andre up and slams his ass.
Body slams
in
1981.
Andre the Giant. He was the first man to do it. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Fuck that racist motherfucker. Stan Hansen's the man.
There's this body slam heard around the world.
So the crowd went wild.
The
crowd went wild on the lead up when he attempted to get underneath it and like he was gonna and he couldn't. And the crowd was like, holy crap, is he gonna do it? And then he does it, and the crowd just goes apeshit.
And this is one of his claim to fame, right? Is
No.
And the body slam.
No,
Andre,
Stan, nobody
right?
talks about this.
I thought they did all the time. I thought
no,
it was
like Stan Hansen broke Bruno San Martino's neck.
Wrestling marks were like, oh, well, actually, Stan Hansen was the first one to body slam Andre the Giant.
It's not well known. Like, everybody thinks in this world that WrestleMania 3, 1987, was the first time Andre basically left his feet in a body slam fashion. Like, that's wrestling lore. That is what Vince has been telling everybody since 1987.
The kicker here, though, is after the second match starts, right before the bell ring. Timing on this is excellent. So there is no match currently because they're in between things. Bell hasn't rung yet. Stan fucking Hansen runs up there and punts Andre the Giant right in the cock and balls. Like, literally blows him away. It was wild because Stan Hansen kicking anybody would probably hurt a lot.
And Stan Hansen kicking Andre the Giant, one of the most intimidating figures in the world of professional wrestling, Andre, the motherfucking Giant.
So, we get some of this continuous, like, chain wrestling slams, punches, all this sort of shit, heavy hitting stuff. And then it kind of devolves. At one point, Andre gets mad and literally just fucking tosses the referee.
Yeah, that was pretty, insane.
Part of me's like, is this a fucking shoot? Like, what is happening? Because Andre, Andre sold it well. Again, he was irritated at the beginning of it. He kind of pushed the referee away a little bit early on, and then he just tosses this dude, and then a bunch of lions get in and roll this lifeless body that is the referee out of the ring.
Every time lions come in for New Japan, I always try to recognize some of them. I did recognize one, and it was Hashimoto, but that was it. That was the only line I was trying to think.
You know why? Because after they roll the lifeless body of the referee, they all go to try to get Andre the Giant off Stan Hansen, and Andre the Giant destroys 17 of them.
Yeah, it was wild.
And that is how the match ends. It was a great finish.
Yes.
It was a great finish because both guys go over. Andre continues to be the beast. He didn't get pinned. Nobody got pinned. Nobody loses. It was a great finish.
Can we thank Travis for suggesting this match this week, even though it was a Daily Motion match?
Yeah. Thanks, Travis.
Oh, also shout out to Travis for giving us a little tidbit of info to watch Daily Motion matches on the TV.
App that you can watch Daily Motion.
Travis, the true MVP of
so now
this
we won't
podcast.
have to bitch at Aaron every week and yell at him.
I did. I also downloaded that app today, and I watched the match while drinking a cup of coffee this morning.
There's a lot of good stuff on there, though.
On what?
Daily Motion.
Yeah, of course. That's what we're saying. That's where all of our shit comes from is Daily Motion.
Anywho, social media update. We had one post this week. It's just a no to drugs. Thank you. Oh, shit. I just forgot his name. He's staring at him.
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart.
I thought you were saying Tolbert.
No. So Tolbert somehow up to 136. So I think he got one there. Twitter, we didn't have any good beefy back and forths like the Stan Hansen Andre match. We really didn't do much on Twitter. What are we, 303 now? Passion of the Funk.
The Kawasaki Dream stuff. Yeah. It was the 25th anniversary of the most famous King of the Deathmatch tournament in professional wrestling. What?
That was insane.
Oh yeah, I got to send that to Cookie this week.
Oh my god, man, that was what was the 80s, like late 80s maybe?
No, it was 95.
95.
Yeah, August 20, 1995. Kawasaki Dream IWA Japan. And you get to see in the first match Leatherface and Terry Funk. Terry Funk taking a wonderful chainsaw to the face multiple times. Terry Funk doing, oh, God, da.
Flopping like a madman.
Terry
I love
Funk,
it.
GOAT. And then you got to see the Mick Foley and Terry Funk match. Phenomenal, insane shit to watch. If you guys get a chance, follow Violent Miracle on Instagram. He'll send you some stuff. It's pretty cool.
And while you're doing that, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @$2steak_ for all your shitty wrestling podcast needs.
That's right. You have anything to add to that, Tolbert, the social media update this week?
No.
Again, no hits, no shits. Mic drop.
I do have... for the 25th anniversary of the death match, Travis did some awesome art.
Yes.
Which he posted on his Instagram at, is it Travis Art. I don't know.
It's Travis RT.
Sorry, Travis. Yeah, Travis RT Instagram.
Mike's going to try to take a shit before his next flag football match. Can we do...
Here, let's get some coverage of that. Why don't you just go right beside the door and just...
We need a boom mic.
I do have a boom mic. I don't have it with me. I'm not going to set that up to get his poop. So we'll go to our next segment. All right, for the strong style, Cookie, you've got the 1-2-3 Kid against Bret the Hitman Hart. It's from Raw, and it is one of the matches that I remember as a child watching that kind of kept me enthralled the whole time, and it also made me really want to keep watching professional wrestling.
Yeah, I definitely have a Monday Night Raw classic in terms of a wrestling match. This is a championship match between Bret the Hitman Hart and the 1-2-3 Kid, 6-Pac, X-Pac, whatever the hell you want to call him, Pac. It's in 1994, man. I am all of 1 year old. JR has a bush full of hair. Macho Man is as colorful as ever on the mic, and there's no Vince McMahon.
No Vince McMahon. This is a very weird time for Monday Night Raw. Like having these guys on the mic and no Vince McMahon was kind of weird.
It is. I'm so used to hearing his voice, but JR does just a fantastic job of putting 1-2-3 Kid over. And so does Macho Man Randy Savage as well. He was actually pretty decent on the mic.
Oh yeah, I loved Macho Man in this.
Yeah, I think he should have stuck with commentary, but of course he wanted to keep wrestling, so I get that. But anyway, can I just say the pop for Bret Hart when he comes out, phenomenal.
Yes, huge.
He's a fucking rock star, and he may have been before his time just a little bit, but he was a fucking rock star. I didn't really get a chance to enjoy his matches as a kid because I didn't watch WCW like that, and that's how I knew him from WCW, not WWF. But 1-2-3 Kid, or man, whatever I want to say. How young does he look?
He looks like he's fresh out of high school. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, the mullet is gorgeous. You know, it's nice and oily and greasy like Davenport likes it.
Yeah, that's right. It's a beautiful mullet. Both of these guys have beautiful, like, 90s hair, full-on 90s hair in this match.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I don't know what the beef is between Owen and Bret Hart before the match even starts. You see Owen and Jim the Anvil Neidhart come out right behind Bret, and I think is this right before their match?
If it's 7/11/1994, it might have been right after their WrestleMania match. I'm not sure. Like they definitely had like a rivalry going on between the two.
This is in the middle of that. Okay, I gotcha. Honestly, unpopular opinion, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I think Owen was a little bit more entertaining than Bret Hart was. That's just my opinion. I know.
Some people like it. Owen is more flying and Bret is more technical. If you like a more technical style, there is no better than Bret Hart. Definitely if you like a more high-flying style, Owen Hart's your heart.
Yeah, but see, I think Owen had technical and he had to fly, and that's why I liked him because he mixed the match, whereas Bret is very slow and methodical, but I don't know. I like them both. Let's just say that. I like them both. But before I get into my countdown, one more thing. Can I just say, you get those visuals with Monday Night Raw. This is before all the LED boards and stuff like that. You get that visual of the heart lights on the mat and the 1-2-3 lights and the shadows on the mat.
Yes.
I dig that. I think that is that's more compelling than seeing all these LED boards on the ring posts, on the aprons, on the rampway. Fuck all that. It's unnecessary.
You're telling me this is more compelling than the Thunderdome?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The Thunderdome, it is actually a pretty cool idea. But you don't get the noise. It's not a real audience. So, like...
The weird thing is, like, I watched some of the NBA match last night, and the NBA match has a very similar thing. Like, they've got all the fans zooming in, and I'm like, NBA did it better than WWE.
I think it's closer. You can see the people with this. It just, like, there's too much. There's too many people.
Yeah.
Smaller screens. You can't see what they're actually like doing or saying. It's too strict. It's very WWE. How about that? We'll just say that.
it totally is.
It's very WWE. But anyway, let's get to the countdown.
Cookies top 4, number 1.
There we go. Come on.
I had a
man.
stroke. I'm sorry.
You sounded like Lex Luger on the mic for a second there.
WCW.
I don't know.
I don't know.
6, man. Number 1, 6 in those kicks. Damn, I should be a rapper. 6 in those kicks. Anyway, you got side kicks, roundhouse kicks, the spinning back kick. He has some dangerous feet. And by dangerous, I mean, I'm sure he's busted some lips for those kicks because that back kick is out of control.
I think that he was one of the first competitors I remember in America, doing these kicks. And it was such a different thing to see as a kid. You've got Muda, who's in WCW. He's doing a lot of kicks and stuff, but it's not quite as
crisp,
springy and crisp. Like Muda is phenomenal. Muda is one of my favorites, of course.
Oh yeah,
but you look at somebody. Say what? His
were stiff. His kicks were stiff.
Right. 1, 2, 3. Very pretty offense.
Absolutely.
Very unconventional, but very pretty at the same time. Yeah,
I mean, if I was a kid, I would definitely gravitate towards the 1, 2, 3 kick because he's springy, he's young, he's got bounce. That's what it is. He's got the bounce, man.
The ultimate underdog. When you're watching a matchup, say you've got him against Razor Ramon. That was a big feud in the early 90s.
Yeah.
You always think what if this guy wins? Then he does win, and it becomes a thing,
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's honestly just like an AEW. I thought that I can't even. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Darby?
No, not Darby. Darby is an underdog, but oh my God, the Exalted One. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
The Exalted One, Brody.
Brody Lee, thank you, Brody. Jesus Christ, yes, Brody Lee. He was an underdog in that match, and he completely squashed Cody Rhodes.
Insane, right?
It absolutely insane. But I guess we're getting off topic, so let's go to the next one.
Number 2.
Bret selling his ass off in the beginning for the 1, 2, 3 kid. How about that shit? Today in this world as a world champion, fighting a glorified jobber basically, because that's what 1, 2, 3 kid is. Let's be honest here. He was a jobber. He was kid before he even got that pin on Razor Ramon to become 1, 2, 3 kid. So glorified jobber, basically getting that match against the world champion and the champ actually selling for the jobber, for the 1, 2, 3 kid. That's something that you typically don't see. And for 94, I'm sure you definitely don't see that. You know what I mean? So
a lot of credibility.
Absolutely. And you get a 22-minute classic. Today, you would only get, 3 minutes against Drew McIntyre if you're Heath Slater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know.
Yeah. So stand-up person, so much respect for Bret as a professional because he didn't have to do that, but he sold his ass off and he made kid look good. And I'm sure he probably gave him some prominence. I guess that's the word I'll use.
Yeah.
But was this was Kid with the Clique at this point, or was this before the Clique?
I don't even know. I would think that they all kind of pal around with each other at this point.
Yeah.
This was definitely before he went to WCW, and this was early on in his WWF career.
I could definitely see that. But anyway, Bret, man, just a stand-up person. You can see it right before they go to commercial break. This is a really good spot where Bret technically gets the win. He saw Kid's foot was on the ropes. He calls it back. And he says, wait a minute, I can't win like that. So stand-up person is for Bret, man.
What a wonderful baby face thing. You've got 2 baby faces against each other.
Exactly. Could you imagine
nobody's trying to that? Yeah, nobody's trying to take the easy way out in this matchup. No,
definitely not. They're not trying to cheat the fans. They're going to give them a classic. They're not trying to cheat like the Dawson boys do sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes. Not all the time.
Number 3.
the ugly ass moonsault by the kid off the top rope. That moonsault is what I think my moonsault would look like that I do on you, Aaron, when your ring actually gets set up in the backyard.
Right.
By the way, I do like the deck that you guys are building on the back. I don't think we saw that. We didn't put it over.
No. Howard Varnum had some good designs there on my deck this week.
He definitely did, man. I can't wait for you to put the turnbuckles or the cables up and paint it. I don't know what color you're gonna paint it.
We'll have we'll have the Wilmington Dream, the King of the Deathmatch tournament, Wilmington edition at my house coming up shortly. It'll consist of Cookie Allen and Zane Dawson. They will all be a part of the Wilmington Dream deathmatch tournament, and I think one slam on that deck and you're already dead. So
yeah, I think one slam and I'm going straight through it, or I'm dying right there on impact.
Nobody's going through that deck. I hope you know that Howard has built this to withstand an atom bomb. So
Jesus. Oh, okay. All right. So there's going to be no give in it. So I'm going to die on impact.
Right. So it'll be a very quick tournament. There will be maybe 2 spots for each match.
Okay.
And then the tournament will end, and we will have the King of the Wilmington Death Match very shortly. You guys, we'll broadcast it online in a 5-minute Facebook Live video.
I just hope we have someone good on commentary. Obviously, it won't be us because you suck.
No, I do.
You are god awful, Aaron. I just want you to know that. But anyway, going back to the countdown, that moonsault was ugly. That jackknife was close to killing Bret. Did you see that? He almost didn't rotate on it. Almost broke his goddamn neck. I hate seeing those spots. But what I don't hate to see is the 1-2-3 kid and his higher spots than that. So that senton that he did to Bret on the outside, phenomenal. Like I said, you only need 1, 2, maybe 3 high spots in a match. You don't need all the shit that you see today. Suicide dive. You don't need all the planches over the top rope and all the other bullshit. 1-2-3 kid and Bret had 2 or 3 high spots, and 1-2-3 kid missed like 2 of them anyway. But anyway, 1-2-3 kid with his high spots. The senton over to the outside. Then he tried to do it again in the ring, caught mostly Matt. And Kid had a lot of near falls in this match, man. So he was high flying towards the end of it, but before that, he was just trying to roll Bret up to get that pin and get that win over the champion. And I think that's what makes the most sense in a wrestling match for someone like a 1-2-3 kid. Like, he's not obviously going to outpower Bret. He's not going to out technical Bret. So what is he going to do? He's going to try and sneak a win on Bret.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense in the storytelling of this match.
Exactly. So now, like, I love that, like, the more matches that I watch, the more storytelling I get, the more I understand the craft of it. Does that make sense? Yeah,
that totally makes sense. And that's kind of like, you know, what the purpose of this podcast was at the beginning. I kind of wanted you guys to see the different aspects and the different ways to tell a story in a professional wrestling match. And I think that each match has its own story. Sometimes the stories are terrible, and sometimes the stories are very amazing. Like if you've got an Okada match in the Wrestle Kingdom against Naito, and like it's been a 4-year journey for Naito to get this belt, and it becomes this epic thing.
Yeah.
You've got the 1-2-3 kid who's sneaking wins. He's a spoiler on Monday Night Raw every week. How is he spoiling people? With roll-ups. He's spoiling people with very tricky maneuvers.
Yeah.
Going against a guy that's one of the most technical wrestlers of all time. How is he going to beat this guy?
And you can see it in the crowd reaction too, because every roll up, the crowd's getting on their feet like, okay, he's gonna win right now. Oh no, he's got it this time. No, he's got it this time. Backslides, schoolboy pins, everything that you can think of, he tried it, and he was so close to getting it. He was so close. But at the very end, and I don't even know, did you say number 4 yet?
No, number 4.
Okay. All the near falls and everything culminated to this. 1-2-3 kid doing his gooch splash. I don't know what the fuck to call that. Whatever he does in the corner where he tries
the Bronco Buster.
The Bronco Buster. Thank you. The Bronco Buster in the corner, basically busting his own balls, tore his shit up. Bret gets the finish though. After that, I think 1, 2, 3 Kid tries to do something else off the top rope, drop kick or something like that. Bret catches him, puts him in the sharpshooter. No one gets out of the sharpshooter. The only thing you can do is pin. And Kid basically went to the well too many times. Bret gets the finish, gets the win, pats the Kid on the back. The referee's patting him on the back. I think Macho Man and JR were standing up and clapping, giving him a round of applause. So were the crowd. It was amazing, man. That's a feel good moment. It leaves the crowd with he didn't get it. He tried his best. A very not Rudy-esque, but a feel good moment for sure.
I love that match. Like it ended up being like a very fun match. It's not your traditional strong style match that we have on this, but I think it's a very technical match, and I think it fit your category pretty well. Absolutely.
No, it definitely did. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't too technical, but it was something to see, because I do love those matches where you get those false finishes, but they make sense. The false finishes that make sense. Kind of like the Jeff Hardy and Undertaker thing with the ladder match. False finishes, very close to getting it, almost there, and just right before he gets it, the champion comes in, swoops in, and just wins the title. It makes sense, and it makes you feel like you watched a classic.
Yeah.
But my honorable mentions, man, 6 or 1, 2, 3 Kid, whatever you want to call him, such a talent. He was young, but you could still tell he had something. And I was just like, I wonder why he never got that big push. He always fought for the title, but never really got I don't even know if he got the IC belt, but I know he got the smaller
European.
I always wonder why he didn't get the big one, but maybe that's because of the people he hung out with. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
I'm asking you, what do you think?
I thought it was a rhetorical. Maybe, I don't know. Put me on the spot, Cookie.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot, man. But it more than likely was he was hanging out with a clique, and I made a revelation, an epiphany, whatever you want to call it. 1, 2, 3 Kid is kind of like Sammy and Jericho right now.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 Kid had Shawn and Triple H, whereas Jericho has Sammy right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, huh. But I highly doubt Jericho's doing the shit that Shawn Michaels is doing in the back with Sonny and everyone else.
Yeah, no, Jericho, I think he's past that point in his career.
I would like to hope so. But, I mean, they have 1, 2, 3 Kid he basically had that Sammy Guevara effect. So he had someone that was, I'm blanking on my word right now, but he had someone to coach him up and basically push him through the ranks, and you just don't see that a lot. But he was a hell of a fucking talent.
Yes, very much so.
You can tell that he was groomed by Diesel and all the rest of the clique members. So I don't know, man. Honorable mentions go to just a hell of a talent that 1, 2, 3 Kid was, and probably still is. I'm sure he still works matches.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, with COVID and everything, it's kind of messed things up. But yeah, he's definitely worked some matches in the last couple of years that were still really good. Yeah. He's aging out a little bit, and he's probably past his prime, but he still can. He knows professional wrestling enough that he could probably put together a really great match.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Bret is Bret. I don't need to talk about him. His reputation precedes him, so we already know about him. I'm giving this match, of course, 5 cookies, 100%. 5 cookies and a Finn Balor.
Okay.
Golden Cookie nomination. Hell of a match. I can't wait to see what you give me next week.
Sounds good. And let's end this with a what a maneuver.
What a maneuver.
All right. Sounds good, dude. Thank you.
No worries, man. What time does SummerSlam start?
7.
7? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
All right, for the high spot, we have got Ken Ohka against Tsuyoshi Kikuchi in a bread-eating death match. Tolbert.
Yes.
What is a bread-eating death match?
Well, I didn't know what to think when you sent me this link. Definitely a first for the high spot. Wasn't surprised though. But we are in Japan. We've got these two gentlemen. Couldn't tell who was who because there's no English whatsoever. Usually you can kind of decipher who's who, but this one was tough. So I think Ken Ohka is, I named him Weird Face.
Okay.
And then we have Tsuyoshi Kikuchi. I just call him Blondie.
Okay.
He comes out first. He is he's a good looking guy. Bye, Mike. Have fun at foosball. He's a tough looking dude. He's young. He's got a luscious mane of blonde flowing hair, right? He comes out to the ring and you can tell he's trying not to laugh the whole time. It's pretty funny. He's trying to hold back the giggles. Because this is a bread-eating death match. And in the ring, while he's making his entrance, is some sort of clothesline ran across the ring in kind of like a Freddy got fingered fashion with the sausages.
I thought.
Yeah, that's what immediately came to mind was, Daddy, would you like some sausage? But in this case, it's various loaves of bread. While this is going on, we have our second competitor enter, Ken Ohka, I believe this is. And I just call him Weird Face because he's got this weird punk rock death stare kind of thing going on. He comes out to some rock and roll. I have to mention before we get to the match, we have a little na 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 hey goodbye. Yeah, it was a pretty cool little clap and chant there to send the boys in. So we get a good visual when they actually string up the bread and they pull the string tight and all the bread lifts into the air. And you see we've got it in various links. One of my favorites is the baguette just dangling right above the canvas.
And I like to also say that there is an unsliced loaf of white bread
Yes.
somewhere in there.
There is, and I love how they, everything's tied to a single string kind of dangling, but they split it off into two ropes, so it's got two pieces of rope hanging the big loaf. I don't know. It's a funny visual.
Some Wonder Bread, some what is it?
Oh man, we got some focaccia. We've got some hot dog buns. I have to say the hot dog buns tied tightly in the middle are a great visual as well. And they're swinging all over the place. So the ref explains the rules, but I really didn't catch too much of it. So, but obviously these boys are going to have to eat some bread. And there's a death match in the title, so this might get a little ugly.
Death by carbohydrates is what this match is.
So the ref, we see a little sportsmanship at the beginning. We see a little handshake. The competitors acknowledge each other. I like to see that, especially in a death match. But then once the bell rings, all bets are off. And they are snapping each other like kind of like the Raptors in Jurassic Park.
Right.
They're just snapping and hollering at each other. Well, instead of going on in each other, they start going on in on the bread and just munching. But you notice something pretty quick, and I guess it was explained in the rules. You can't use your hands.
You cannot use your hands on the bread.
Yes. So it's dangling and flopping everywhere as they're biting and nipping at it.
A good way to choke, I think. And
I think so.
Be one of the ways that this could be considered a death match.
And then, of course, in every eating competition, it gets heated. You're trying to gobble up yours, and they got a little too close. Then we actually see some wrestling take place. We have some
just a little bit,
just a little bit,
a touch,
because there's not much in this match. And we see some stiff elbows and a little DDT. Well, Ugly Face, he's not having this, and he wants to get the upper hand. So a little heel trickery, if you will, and he kind of splits Blondie between the ring post, and he pulls out some tape. Tapes his ankles to the post, right? So he's got him secured in there. And this is a death match, ladies and gentlemen, so this is legal. Ref has no qualms with this at all. So he's taped up. He's it's kind of didn't we do a match where someone was handcuffed between the posts?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, so old Ugly Face makes his way back into the ring, and I have to say, this guy really enjoys eating bread.
Yes.
Like, this is his bread and butter, I should say. And he goes to town, but he savors this hamburger bun dangling for a string, and I think he should just eat a little faster. Instead, he's trying to enjoy it. In the meantime, Blondie breaks loose, comes up from behind with an axe handle, and tapes his mouth shut.
That's right.
He said, "Hey, this is a bread eating competition.
Wait,
I'm gonna
this
get the
is not
upper
a
hand.
wrestling match.
Yeah, if I can take this guy out, I'm going to win this thing." I don't know how he didn't choke here because he has a mouth full of bread
And a taped up mouth.
and he tapes it around his hair, around his face, and everything. Blondie goes for the baguette, but it's just dangling, slapping him in the face. We get a funny little visual. The crowd is having a great time. They're laughing. They're giggling. I have to say, like, it's a goofy match, but the way these guys sell it and some of the facials and stuff they make, they really get the crowd into it. Well, Blondie thinks he's got the upper hand, and he's going to win this as Ugly Face tears the tape painfully off of his hair. He's like, "Hey, man, that's dirty." Well, we get a baguette spot. Blondie tries to take him out with a baguette. It's a baguette. It's not going to work. And, of course, he no-sells it. And we're back to square one. And they start eating the broken baguette off the floor face to face. Just staring each other down.
With bread, eating bread, what do you like to wash your bread down with?
There's a few things I like to wash it down with. But, after you eat a few bites, you start to get parched. Milk goes great.
A delicious glass of cold milk.
So old Ugly Face gets his manager to say, "Hey, man." He pulls a little hill move. He's like, "Give me that glass of milk." He's going to cheat a little bit. Well, Blondie doesn't like this, and as he goes to take a sip, and this is one of my favorite parts of the matches, he tries to steal his milk, and he tries to steal it back. It's spilling all over the place. Finally, Blondie just smacks it out of his hand, and it goes right into his face. But his reaction to the milk going into his face, I mean, he's just a brilliant actor. It was great. So he leaves him splattered in the milk. We go back to some bread eating. And this is also one of my favorite spots where the baguette dangling above the mat comes into play. Blondie gets put into a Boston Crab. But he's like, "Hey, I'm not going to take this laying down." And he crawls over to the baguette that's dangling inches above the mat and just starts taking bites out of it while he's in this submission hold. And this goes to like a modified ankle lock. He drags him away from the bread, but he's still going.
You can take the fight out of the man, but you cannot take the bread out of the mouth of these competitors.
So the match goes on like this, then just doing these goofy spots back and forth. Another favorite of mine is where they're rolling around on the mat and Ugly Face gets a big old bite. Blondie gets a big old bite, and they're just staring each other down. And at one point, old Ugly Face just actually pulls the bread out of Blondie's mouth. It's like, "Hey, man, if you can't eat it, you ain't going to beat me."
And then is that the part where it leads to maybe the part where they're both laying prone on the ground and it becomes that David Hasselhoff eating a cheeseburger video?
Yeah, not too far from it.
Where the guys are just laying there and one of the guys is just kind of laying on his side eating a big mouthful of bread. It just reminds me of that David Hasselhoff video from years ago.
Oh, it kind of does. I didn't think of that, but now that you bring it up, it is amazing. We do eventually get to a little more back and forth, but like I said, there's not much wrestling in this. And this link is in 2 parts. So if you do watch this, it'll end, and then just click on the second link, and it brings it up to more shenanigans of bread swinging around and them just kind of beating on each other every once in a while. Now, we see some roll-ups and some small packages and stuff, but the ref doesn't really count every time there's a pinfall. He just points to the bread and yells like, "Hey, you got to eat more bread. You're not going to win it like this."
What do you think this is, a wrestling match?
And eventually we do get, I guess, some sort of pin, and the ref calls it, I guess he calls it even. I couldn't tell. He doesn't
honestly
raise a hand. The ref actually just sits down and kind of holds his head in his hands like he doesn't know what to do.
Just like I did while trying to figure out this match.
Yeah. So we don't really know what's going on, but obviously Blondie's upset because he cuts a very passionate promo. But while this promo is going down, old Ken Ohka is just chowing down on bread the whole time.
So much bread.
So he just won't stop eating it. And he keeps on and he keeps on. The whole time he's cutting this promo and leaving the ring, he's still eating bread. He rolls out of the ring with a baguette in his hand and heads back to the locker room.
I'm not sure if he was just very passionate about the bread, how the taste. He wanted to continue the taste of this bread, or he was trying to get, I honestly could not tell you what the hell happened.
No, this is one of the weirdest matches you've ever given me. The YouTube comments are pretty funny on this. One of them says, "Don't show this to Vince Russo." It says, "Yo, stole his milk. I felt that dude's pain."
One of my favorites is "I get it." Wait, no, I don't.
No,
I don't get it.
Oh, but yes, definitely one of the weirdest matches I've ever seen.
Let's hear that haiku about the bread eating.
All right. That's a lot of carbs.
It's so many carbs.
Baguettes, rolls, buns, loaves. Oh, my. Last time it was warm.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Or we could end it with, there's no more milk.
No more milk.
You guys are on your own.
We eat so many shrimp.
Or we could end it with, please pass the butter.
Please pass the butter. All right, thank you for listening to another episode of $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. Cookie is figuring out how to unmute himself during this segment. Cookie!
Oh, here I am.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Listen, yeah, I'll say goodbye to everyone. Listen, Aaron, you woke me up, man, all right? And I know that wasn't technically your fault, but I had to go take my morning shit, all right? That has to happen. Bodies have to regulate themselves, all right? God damn it.
The morning movements, brother.
Yeah, you see? Tolbert understands it. Aaron,
I had to take a shit before the kayaking trip yesterday, and it made us late to the kayaking trip yesterday. I think that happened at your bachelor party. We had to go whitewater rafting. There's nothing in my life that I would rather do.
Hey, man, you don't want to get out there.
I don't want to get on the open water and having to take a shit.
See? Exactly. I get
Thank
that.
you for listening to $2.
Wait. One more thing before I leave, man. Before I leave. I didn't get a chance to say this when I was shooting earlier. But while I was talking about fuck Central Piedmont Community College, I also want to say fuck the department chair. Fuck the physics professor. Fuck whoever runs the refunds in that department. Fuck them. They can all suck my left nut. They can't suck the right one. The left one they can though. Fuck them.
Thank you, Cookie.
You're welcome.
Go play some disc golf.
Go play some disc golf. All right. Thank you for listening to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. We'll hear from you next week. $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast.